me today from Lithium Australia. I'm joined in the studio by Adrian Griffin. Adrian, welcome to the London studio. Nice to have you.
Thanks very much, Andrew.
I know you've recently had a successful pilot plant run at your facility in ANSTO in Sydney. Before we talk a little bit more about what's been learned here, just take us back a step. Tell us a bit more about the source of the material.
Well, one of the things that we've been doing is looking at sustainability in the lithium industry, and there's a lot of material that gets thrown away from various industries, not only the lithium industry. So we've looked at locations, in this case close to Kalgoorlie, a major mining centre in Australia, and we've recovered material from mine dumps. We've created concentrates of the lithium minerals within those dumps, and we've used those as the feed source for the pilot plant run. So we're really processing something that other people don't want, that they throw away.
And so what are some of the obvious benefits of using mine waste?
The clear one is it's already got an embedded mining cost that someone else has paid for, and as a consequence it really means that your feedstock can be very, very cheap. And one of the things that I like about doing that is it does create much better utilisation of our resources. And we are a wasteful society, and we tend to throw a lot of things away, and I would prefer to be using those things and turning them into something of value.
Well, what have you learned about the performance of the plant here through this?
The performance was pretty good. It is, of course, a second generation plant, so it's not like we were starting with a clean sheet of paper. We knew what the performance should have been, we designed accordingly, and the plant ran for the whole run almost non-stop from start to finish. So in terms of reliability, it was a real design achievement, and probably the best part of that was we managed to recover in excess of 90% of the lithium and convert that into lithium phosphate. Now that's a little bit different to other people. Most other people produce lithium carbonate or lithium hydroxide, but we actually did that for a reason.
And what was that reason?
I was hoping you'd ask that. The reason, when we designed the plant in the first place, we found we had a problem with water balance, and a lot of the cost involved in capital cost in a plant and operating costs was controlling the water balance rather than the chemistry. Now, we may well have had a very good positive commercial outcome from doing that, but was it the best way to do it? We decided it wasn't, and we could actually change the chemistry, and rather than precipitating a carbonate or a hydroxide, which is standard practice, and do that by evaporating a lot of water in the process, which was expensive, it was better to change the chemistry and precipitate phosphate, and as a consequence reduce the capital cost and operating cost.
What about the applications of the phosphate? How does that differ?
Well, it's interesting. People are using that commodity in China and South Korea for the production of lithium-ion batteries, lithium iron phosphate batteries in particular. So it does have an application. It's a relatively small market, however. We do have the option of converting that to a carbonate or a hydroxide if required, but we believe that it's a much cheaper route to get to lithium-ion batteries by going the phosphate route.
And so where to from here for the pilot plant?
Well, that pilot plant gives us a lot of information, and that information will be used to design the phase 3 pilot plant. We want to commit to that by early next year. That will not only run the SiLeach process, which this is designed for, but it'll also run a competing process, LMAX. So we're fully committed to doing that.
You're in London. You've had a number of conferences, meetings lined up. What's the general mood among investors out there about lithium at the moment?
It's a good question. It's a little bit like talking to Chicken Little. The sky has fallen in. Most of the fund managers saying they don't know what part of the cycle we're in, and as a consequence they're very reluctant to take a pitch as to whether the market's going up or down. But when you pull them aside, I think we're in a position, fortunately, that we've got a very good project, and there's always money around for good projects.
You've talked a bit about the outlook here for the pilot plant. I suppose more generally at Lithium Australia, what else are you working on? What news-wise should we be on the lookout for between now, the end of the year, early next year, say?
We've got a strong focus in Europe, which is most important because Europe is the fastest growing part of the EV market on a global basis at the moment, and we do have a resource in Saxony in Germany, so we're doing a bit of work on that. We're looking at other deposits in Germany, so we have an active exploration portfolio. We also have a cathode pilot plant based in Brisbane, and we have taken that through to the production of lithium iron phosphate cathode powders, which are currently in China with battery producers for testing, and we're getting very positive results out of that.
Well, we look forward to hearing more. Adrian, good to meet. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Andrew.